Attention.
Solo Detroit.
Welcome to the lottery spin.
ML Elric.
You're moving out to the island. Transported to the world's last paradise.
I think they're gonna kill you.
I'm going to the island.
There is no island!
You answered around your questions out of my face. It's gone.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Come on.
That is not paid for by them. That is paid for by the people of Detroit.
You might be qualified, ML.
I'm not qualified for this job.
Let me tell you something. You want to go right now? Okay? You want to go right now, Al?
Hey kids, it's your old pal, ML Elric. And while it may look like I'm on some luxurious island somewhere, or perhaps a high-end Airbnb somewhere on our wonderful planet, I am actually on the back porch of my mother-in-law's house in Muskegon, where I'm being served toast and tea. So whatever you hear about mother-in-laws, all the bad stuff, it doesn't apply here.
That looks like a really nice little area there. Nice little cabin in the woods. I'm glad I asked you a question as you put toast in your mouth.
I forgot you hate it when people eat on the show.
I do. I'm not a fan of it. Even though I violated my own rule a time or two. So, what do you do?
If Sean wasn't having eggs Benedict or whatever he's prepared himself, he'd be with us too. But he may be joining us.
I'm worried. I don't
shortly.
know where Sean is. I don't know. I have only so many worries in the world. But you are still traveling. You're always traveling. If it's not Europe, and now it's Michigan, Muskegon, and today you're heading on over to the island, to the Big Island.
I'm headed to the Mackinac Policy Conference, which happens every year, where they mix horse shit and politics, which is really makes it hard to tell which is which most of the time. And the big question is, will the other white Mike be there when I get there? Because as many people know, Mike Duggan dropped out of the governor's race suddenly last week. And if you saw the Free Press, you saw he and I had a moment as he was walking out of the press conference. And the last thing I asked him was, are you going to be in Mackinac? And he said, I don't know, which is interesting because the regional chamber, the Detroit Regional Chamber, has gone so all in on Mike Duggan that he's all over the agenda. I mean, if he doesn't show up, they got to find somebody else to fill the hole. And one year they had Charlie LaDuff as a speaker. And this year, I don't think they want him there because they know that not only does he speak, but he speaks truth to power.
Yeah, Charlie wasn't allowed to go. They denied all his applications. So there's a billboard. Have you seen the billboard by Wolverine on I-75? I don't know, because you probably took a different route. That just says,
yeah, I'm starting from Muskegon, so I'm going to go up the West Coast.
Yeah,
but,
just a welcome to Mackinac billboard with Charlie's face on it. So
oh my God!
So you might run into him. You might run into him. How surprised were you when Duggan made that announcement? I mean, did you hear any whispers? Because in your article, you wrote that he had been mulling it for about a half a week.
Yeah, no, I was really surprised. In fact, I was on a conference call that morning with the Free Press Politics team talking about what are we going to do when we get there. And I've proposed a couple columns that I'll probably write. And every time I go up there, as I've said before, I go up there with an idea what I want to write, and I'm always trying to find something better. One of the proposals I had for the group that was soundly rejected was a column on all the people who are on the agenda who have porn names.
Like Cox and Johnson.
Yeah, and there's a woman whose last name is Kunz. I don't even dare pronounce it.
Yeah,
but
yeah, she's used to it.
Yeah, remember Rusty Kuntz from the Tigers?
Yeah, big. Was he Legrand Orange? Was that Rusty Kuntz?
No.
Or is that
that was Rusty
Staub? Yeah, I'm confusing my Rusties.
Yeah. No, Rusty Staub, by the way, here's a big digression. Look up his numbers. He should be in the Hall of Fame. But Rusty Kuntz was a utility player in the '84 Tigers, who was kind of one of those fan favorites because he was just a scrappy little guy who just always found a way to make a difference. But so that idea got rejected. But we're on the
surprised.
Call, and and one of our reporters goes. Or actually, I should say. One of the people on the call said, hey, I'm hearing that Mike Duggan may be dropping out. And I'm like, what? So then we continue talking for like another half an hour, 45 minutes, and we've kind of exhausted the useful portion of the meeting. You know, this show tells you how that goes. You know, at some point, you're like, okay, we got to get out of here.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we can always call on on Cyrus, but there's no such creature at the Free Press. People just say, okay, now he's proposing columns about people with porn names. It's time to go. And then one of my colleagues goes, I think I got to go. Gone where news services reporting that Mike Duggan dropped out. And we all were gone. That was it.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
And I find the timing very surprising because of Mackinac, and it's put on by the Detroit Regional Chamber, who was the biggest push, I think, behind Duggan, weren't they?
Oh yeah. The Detroit, in fact, the Detroit Regional Chamber, I think it's an open question whether they violated campaign finance laws by paying for all these surveys that showed how well Mike Duggan was doing. Those surveys were clearly something that benefited the Duggan campaign and were used by the Duggan campaign. Those should have been listed as in-kind contributions to the Duggan campaign, and they probably cost so much money that they exceeded the in-kind contribution level. But now there's so much dark money out there, you don't know how they listed it where. I mean, it's all pretty silly. But I don't think the Secretary of State, Jocelyn Benson, the odds-on favorite to be the Democratic gubernatorial nominee, wants to do anything that might piss off the chamber or Duggan, because obviously she's trying to win that endorsement. So I don't see her calling for an investigation as to whether or not this was a violation of campaign finance, which is one of the things that the Secretary of State is supposed to keep an eye on.
Wouldn't the chamber be a little pissed off because he's doing it? I mean, they support him, and then it's right before their big event of the year. He's going to be anything anybody's talking about for the most part. I mean, he's really taking attention away from their event.
Yeah, so I don't think Duggan does things thinking, this might help so-and-so or not help so-and-so.
Oh, clearly.
I think he figures, are they going to help Duggan? Although he did probably save a lot of donors a lot of money by deciding that he would pull the plug now. But the chamber basically was put on notice. You better start kissing a lot of ass now, because every other candidate has got to be pissed off quietly that they were supporting Duggan, and now they have a chance to try and kind of save some face here, because they are a very influential entity in the state. They do make a lot of things happen. They do have a lot of money. They do have a political action committee which had endorsed Duggan, and now there's a lot of people who are probably going to say, hey, now that we're here, let's talk about what you're doing next. So on one hand, it helps them because it gives them time to try and not waste precious space on their agenda with a guy who's a dead man walking. But it's also a hassle because now they have everybody going up to him and say, hey, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? And that's, when you're putting on a show like this, all you're doing is fighting fires. But this is like fighting a fire at the same time a planet has crashed into the middle of what you're doing. So it'll be interesting to see everybody, stepping and fetching with their hair on fire and their ass catching.
So I think the big question that everybody's really wondering is why would he drop out now? He claims it's because, they don't have enough money and they're too far back in the polls. But are there other things in motion that you know of that, the Dems dig up a lot of dirt on him? And speaking of dirt, he's got a federal investigation of his housing demolition project. I mean, did those things weigh into his decision?
My colleague Violet Economova asked him about the dirt thing. He just completely dismissed it out of hand. He's like, "What is this?" And she kind of explored that a little bit in the Free Press, and we can try and include a link to that story on our website. But that investigation is so nascent. And from what we've seen of the U.S. Attorney's Office over the last several years, it doesn't seem like public corruption is one of its focuses anymore. And I dare say during the Trump administration, the U.S. Attorney's Office is more concerned about working with ICE than trying to clean up local governments. So, and again, we know the federal investigation, get the bell ready, with Kwame Kilpatrick started sometime in the early 2000s. And he wasn't indicted till the first time until 2010.
Yeah. And
then the superseding indictment that really hit him hard didn't kick in for like another year or so. So Duggan could be term limited as governor by the time the feds actually do something. So I don't think he's worried about that.
Possibly, but there's still a lot of noise about it. And then I got to believe that, Hertel, and you kind of hinted at it a little bit, and he was in charge of the Democrats in the state. You got to believe he dug up more dirt or more there's got to be more behind it than I just don't see Duggan as being a quitter this early on. A guy that can raise money like crazy.
Yeah, I don't think that the Democrats have a skunk works where they're coming up with all kinds of great opposition research. I think Curtis Hertel, the Michigan State Democratic Party chairman, reads the newspapers and figures out how to put a press release based on the headlines. I think they're living off the land. And that's kind of what the feds often do too when they do investigations. And so far, no one has found a smoking gun. Frankly, if I was a politician in Michigan worried about the dirt investigation, I'd be more worried if I was the mayor of Detroit, the current mayor of Detroit, Mary Sheffield, because she had a personal relationship with this vendor, and we don't know the extent of that. And that's kind of been quiet, although I know some people who are looking into it.
McKinney's been talking a little bit more about it.
Yeah, but with Duggan, Duggan is that politician where he's inscrutable. He's never going to tell you what's on his mind, which makes it hard for me to say this, but sometimes I think you have to believe what he says. And he's a numbers guy. He's always been someone who looks at numbers, and he's a money guy. Mm-hmm. And when he says the numbers said I couldn't do it and I couldn't raise the money I needed to do it, I think until you have other information, you have to take him at his word, because the polling did show him slipping. The polling paid for by his own supporters showed him falling behind two so far rather unspectacular Democratic and likely Republican gubernatorial nominees. And Duggan, he knows he's got to spend a ton of money to get that name ID up across the state. He's got to be feeling like he can't climb that hill. Now, one of the funny things is I have a personal theory with no reporting to support it, that the reason he ran as an independent is because he looked at the candidates in the Democratic primary and said, I can't beat Pete Buttigieg and Jocelyn Benson and Garland Gilchrist, so I got to go my own way. He says he dropped out because polling showed the Iran war and the price of gas was making people so mad at Republicans and Trump that an independent couldn't find a lane because everybody was going to move towards the Democrats just to punish the Republicans. What if it turns out there's going to be a peace treaty in Iran and the price of gas is going to plummet? And once again, he kind of was a little hasty. Again, that's conjecture built on conjecture. Yeah. But what did we have? We had Trump announced a peace plan yesterday, and then we bombed Iran. Yeah. So I really think peace in Iran, as much as I wish we had it soon, is not something that's going to happen in the immediate future.
Well, the price of groceries isn't going to drop either, by the way, and that's still got people plenty worked up. By the way, man, I just say this: Skunk Works, they were doing research to advance the cause, of mankind, not necessarily. So get the metaphors. You know what I mean. Let's get them a little sharper here this morning over the west side of the state. Yeah.
Don't you think cleaning up politics and taking some of the partisan vitriol out of it would advance the cause of mankind?
Yeah, I do. But you were suggesting that they were doing research to get dirt, and that's not really advancing anything, is it?
Well, I mean, it advances put the dirt there. Their cause. Whoever's digging up the dirt.
You know what I mean? Yeah. No, it's to play to our worst selves. No, thank you. I'd rather I don't know. I'd rather build the SR-71.
I have no idea what that means.
It was the fastest airplane. It was the fastest airplane in the world for a long time, and part of my
but it's not. It
sat up there pretty high in my imagination as a kid. Belvin did not fly that plane. But he was a fighter pilot. But yeah, it was this sleek black plane, and they have a model of it at the NASA Museum in Huntsville, Alabama. People don't probably understand there's a NASA museum or a NASA anything in Alabama at all, but there is, matter of fact.
You working for the Chamber of Commerce?
Yeah, I had no idea the stakes were Duggan gets elected governor, we build the fastest plane on the planet. But what was Belvin's call sign, by the way?
I should know that, but I forgot.
Kimono?
Show kimono.
I did know at one point. Yeah.
His call sign was Commando.
The Nazis came over after World War II and settled in.
Call the free ball, Maverick.
Brain hanging. What?
Yeah. It was like everything else in this country. It's really complicated. The Nazis came over after World War II and settled in an army base in northern Alabama, and that's how That's where they designed the rockets that led to the Apollo mission. So
I know nobody ever gives the Nazis credit for the space race, but it was really the Nazis that the Russians took and the Nazis that we took to build the rockets.
No,
they were so far ahead on rocket technology.
I know, isn't that funny? Wasn't that part of the through line of one of the early Marvel Captain America movies? Weren't there rockets involved in that?
I think you're right.
And the Nazis.
Before people get confused that this is some sort of pro-Nazi show, let's say scientists who were forced to work for the Third Reich.
Okay, thank you.
And who were repatriated and who contributed to the cause of freedom.
Yes, I like it's so much better put as you do. And
there's a gratuitous joke about they felt very comfortable in Alabama, but I'm going to let that one slide.
You don't need to, you don't need to say repatriated though, but that's okay.
Patriated then?
I guess you could say inscrutable if you want, but
Much too.
I don't know.
I already use that.
I know, Sean, you're going to be bummed out when I do this, but I did want to bring it back to Duggan because I did have one more final question regarding him.
Oh, he's toast. He's toast. We're moving forward.
He's not toast because that's what I want to know.
Speaking of toast.
Oh God. See, now I can't ask you a question because your mouth's going to be full. So
you can just draw the question out like Mike.
I will do that, and I'll watch him chew, and then when he's done chewing, I'll let him answer. But
I meant Duggan, not Elric.
The question is, I meant ML Elric. What's next for him? And people keep talking about him being president of the University of Michigan, and as alumni or an alumnus, I don't know how I feel about that because it's one of those things where presidents of major universities, especially research universities, usually come through the system, right? They usually have a lot of published research. They're from academia. They're a dean. They're a provost. Then they become president. But then again, the reality is the board wants somebody who can budget, the university, who can fundraise and get a lot of money. They want somebody who can put out fires. And Lord knows the University of Michigan needs all three of those. So I don't know. Do you think, A, that's a real possibility now that you're done chewing your toast? And do you think he'd be good at it?
So I think the whole construct of how university presidents are chosen is silly. Why would you pick somebody who wanted to research neuroscience and is a genius medical researcher and then say, now you can run a really complicated organization? I think most of the time those guys are staring into a electron microscope instead of glad handing people. So I think you're taking people.
Only because they do take those steps to where they're in charge of a department and then in charge of a college within a university, and then they're they know the structure of the university. Now that I kind of agree with you. I think it's a little antiquated way of looking at it.
Yeah, I don't trust doctors who want to run hospitals. If you want to be a healer, be a healer. If you want to run a business, get an MBA or start a business or do something. That said, Duggan would be a great university president. Now, he probably wouldn't fit in there because, well, I guess he is being investigated. So, no, I guess he would be a perfect fit. But the thing about Duggan is he gets things done. First of all, he loves the university. He knows the university. I mean, for people who think of him as somewhat robotic, the one humanizing thing I can think about Mike Duggan is how much he loves the University of Michigan and University of Michigan sports. When I was at Fox 2, I talked to him for a story when he was running against Coleman Young. So it would have been 2017 or when Coleman Young was running against him and getting run over by him. But Harbaugh was making a lot of money at that time, and the Wolverines were not doing very well. And I said to him at the end of I always try and throw a off-topic question at the end of an interview just to have some fun, and also maybe it makes for a good outtake at the end of the year. And I said, we're talking about all this serious stuff, including whether or not, he was involved in corruption at the Detroit Medical Center, which he hated to talk about. Mm-hmm. And then I said, so is Jim Harbaugh being paid too much? And he hesitated. He said, now if he beats Ohio State. Yeah. So that's the president you're looking for, folks. This is a guy who can get things done, who can raise money, who's connected, who's a stakeholder, who knows his way around politics in Michigan, which is really important because the legislature is talking about cutting funding to our universities. At the same time, they're saying that costs are too high at universities and that we're losing all our talent to other states. let me tell you something, honey baby. When you make tuition for in-state students cheaper, you will keep the young brains in your state.
Yeah.
So I think he would be a tremendous president for the University of Michigan.
There's an endorsement.
But he said that no one's talked to me, hasn't thought about it, and I take him at his word. I think it's one of those wishful thinking things. But who knows? It may be something someone put out there that is too good an idea to ignore.
Well, the regents are going to be the ones that decide. I mean, and they're elected. You know, they're in the world of politics, a lot of them. The one thing you left out is he's run a major hospital system, too. And I think people forget that Michigan Medicine, you know, the president of the university sits on the board that has oversight of Michigan Medicine. I think it's like a $9 billion institution, too. So,
well, and as I said it in my column, and hopefully we can include a link to that in this week's show notes.
We'll see.
He's also dealt with a governing board of questionable talent and diligence in the Detroit City Council and at the DMC. So,
point.
And think about the people who are on the board at Michigan State. You think Mark Bernstein doesn't know and like Mike Duggan? Jordan Acker, while he's still there, you know, he's a big time Democrat. One of his advisors, Mark Brewer, who used to run the state Democratic Party, he surely knows Duggan and knows what he's capable of, and he's a trusted advisor. Is Sarah Hubbard still on the board at U of M?
I have no idea.
If she is, she used to work with the Chamber of Commerce, so she would know Duggan. I think everybody on the board at U of M knows Duggan. This is someone they don't have to vet that much. Yeah. This is someone who's local. This is someone who's looking for a job. This is someone who still feels like he has big things ahead of him. This would be a real smart way, I think, to shorten the presidential search and bring some stability to that university. Yeah. Now, here's what I would be concerned about if I was a Wolverine fan who thought that Ward Manuel is a piece of crap. He's probably not going to get rid of Ward Manuel because Ward Manuel gets results, and Duggan loves guys like that. Duggan still extols the virtues of Kwame Malik Kilpatrick, get the bell ready every chance he gets. So Ward Manuel, being a numbers guy, let's see, how many championships, how many runners-up did you get? You stay, pal.
Yeah.
So
plus,
I don't think that's going to sanitize your sports program.
Plus, Ward's really good at raising money. I mean, he's got an easy out, though, because Ward might be gone by the time they announce a new president, depending on when this investigation wraps up. So I think
because the NCAA is finally going to do something. Come on.
Well, no, the university has their own investigation into how that's run. That might be their out to get rid of him. Because there's a lot of
years and they didn't do anything. Never going to happen.
Yeah, but you need concrete evidence before you can just blow somebody out, and you know that's just how the world works. And they're going to have
normally Mike likes that way of thinking, except when it comes to the University of Michigan. The innocent until proven guilty, right, Mark?
That's what I say.
Actually, I think Sharon Moore has now been admitted to guilt, so I think we've covered that.
Yeah, of a very minor crime.
And all the coaches have admitted to wrongdoing, which is why their own university suspended. So I think we have quite a bit of body of evidence, and a lot of people have acknowledged their culpability, even if they've diluted it.
To what?
Are you having tea with that scone?
I am indeed, sir.
Do you like the elitism of him punctuating that comment by taking a sip of tea?
Let me do it
with his pinky out. Exactly, like that.
He's got to wash the cranberry scone down, doesn't he?
Good, because he needs to tell us about some of our sponsors now.
Oh yeah, boy! I'll tell you what. We are brought to you today by DCFC, Detroit City Football Club. If you want to go see DCFC, the men or women's team, and you use promo code SOUL, SOUL at checkout, you will save 15%. Go to debtcityfc.com. At checkout, use promo code SOUL to get 15% off your tickets. We're brought to you by the Cadre Cafe. Hey, the beer garden's open, so you can hear live music outside on the east side. So that's awesome. And of course, Luke Nowacki, Pinnacle Wealth Strategies, will tell you a little bit more about how they can all save you money and give you a good time. And Artisan Interiors, if you want to fix your crib, call John at Artisan Interiors. He can get the job done. And of course, we're brought to you by you. If you're watching us, you already know about that. You're a soulmate, which means you've donated as little as $5 a month to get this show, both listening to it, watching it. You get our bonus episode. A new one will be dropping soon. And of course, you get the episodes before everybody else and without those annoying insertion ads that bring us a little bit of guilt. So we got to keep them. But, you know, more soulmates, less ads. How about that?
Sean,
How about that?
Any update on
Catch me outside.
what? Why couldn't you make it? You're having car trouble now, so you get one car towed, and now you're having car trouble.
Yeah, just it's a little more. I'm not sure what's going on, but it's a relatively new car that's giving me issues. I've been lucky for most of my adult car driving life. Well, I've had a lot of used cars, but when I get a new car, it's usually pretty good for a while. But this one is giving me issues, and you're warranted up to a certain amount of miles, and I'm I don't know 70 miles or so from that warranty, so I've just been letting the car sit there for the last several days until I can get it in the shop. And they're gonna take the shop. They're gonna take it in the shop, but they're gonna give me a loaner. But they had to wait to give me a loaner, so I can't really drive anywhere.
I expected it to be a really bizarre story as to why it was broken, but now it's just a regular old car.
Just a regular old car.
Are they still seizing the cars of Johns and leaving green jackets in the back? Is that still happening?
No. Yeah,
that was something Duggan did way back
that
when.
That was a rally car. No, we've got some good car stories over the years. This is not one of them. I mean, my story why I'm zooming is boring as why Mike's zooming in his Tigers jacket. Nice to see you showing support, though.
Oh, to a
yeah.
lousy,
In fact,
team.
I think I could probably hit cleanup for those guys right now.
They're so bad. What writing for the Free Press and the sports department, and I know you see the numbers. Are people losing interest in the stories on the Tigers, Sean?
Not yet. I mean, not that I can tell. I've not written about the Tigers really at all. I've been knee deep in basketball.
He only does winners.
Well, no, I was the NCAA tournament, the Michigan run, and then the Pistons run, and I broke off a little bit for the NFL draft. But we've got, as you know, several columnists at the Freep, and one of them in particular loves baseball. I mean, so he's kind of our baseball columnist. I will jump in here soon, but yes, to answer your question, if this goes on, if this keeps up, yeah, they'll eventually start to lose interest. Right now, they're still kind of hate reading.
Yeah. Well, or they're trying to figure out, like, why is this team so bad? How did they get so bad?
For sure. The indifference, it's not there yet. That would take a little bit longer.
Boy, if ever there was a team and a season built for Carlos Menares, it's the Detroit Tigers. He should be feasting on these guys.
Yeah, a lot of it's. I mean, injuries are part of it. That's for sure. It's hard to get too worked up when they've had such bad luck with injuries. But
yeah, Sean, I always look for the silver lining, and one of the things that I find amazing about this team is how well Kevin McGonigal's doing with absolutely no protection whatsoever in the lineup.
Yeah, I mean Riley's playing good, but
yeah, Riley's been
no power though. I mean, It's strange.
Dingler's got the power, but yeah.
Yeah, they've got a few guys go on, but not that we want to bore our readers to death with baseball talk. But the Tigers,
let's talk about your car. We'll bore them to death that way.
No. I meant listeners, by the way. No. Baseball. People don't like it when we get into sports unless it trickles or spills over into the rest of society, right?
Okay.
Well,
if you say so.
Underperforming millionaires seems to be the people running our world right now.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, the Tigers are. Yeah, they stink. They stink. But I'd rather hear tales about why you're over in Muskegon or wherever you are.
Memorial Day weekend, right?
Yeah, Memorial Day weekend. And, Memorial Day weekend, I should say, last night, I went to go see Project Hail Mary, which was I never get to see movies.
It's still in the theater?
It is. And
it is in Muskegon.
It's in Muskegon. Yeah. I think the Goodbye Girl was the double feature. So, we're getting the new releases here. But Manhattan was here in black and white. They didn't realize it's a big deal. It was in black and white. All you Woody Allen fans out there know what I'm talking about. Watch
Great
your
movie.
daughters. But anyway, it was Memorial Day. It was almost midnight on Memorial Day, and I got a text from my brother-in-law Andy, who sent me a picture of him and his mother and his older brother Jay Achterhoff, who was in on that sack with
he got
Rudy.
the sack. Yeah,
and who played for Notre Dame. Andy
we've
played
interviewed
for
him.
Bowling Green. Yeah, no, I know, and he gave Rudy credit, even though I think was it Joe Montana who wouldn't, or
I know
somebody wouldn't give him credit, but.
That's
Anyway,
stand-up guy.
He sent me a picture from the newspaper from the Vietnam era, which was a picture of his mother being awarded the Silver Star posthumously on behalf of his brother, who had been killed in Vietnam. And Andy, who was 8, and his brother Jay, who was a little older, are standing there looking a little dazed. And I think it's really important that the Memorial Day holiday has passed, but we should acknowledge all those folks who didn't come back, because we're in another war that doesn't seem to make any sense, where we've already lost a lot of people. Some people, and they don't get enough credit for this, have been injured in a way they'll never recover from. This thing shows no signs of ending. And I just, as I was telling Andy last night, that death obviously affected them, but to this day, it's affected them. And politicians lie and young people die, and that game hasn't changed in 50 years or more. And I suspect it never will. And it's just outrageous. And to everybody who marked Memorial Day, not celebrated it, but marked it, we need to understand this, because we need to have a Memorial Day where nobody is grieving a loved one who died for no good reason.
That's well said. Just one question. What does that have to do with Project Hail Mary?
Oh, I went to go see the movie. He couldn't make it, but I was here, so I don't know. Sean asked me, "What am I doing here?" I don't know.
I just wondered if you were hungover or anything like that.
No, we were
a body weekend.
No, we were here for the weekend. Muskegon, for people who don't know it, is Michigan's hidden gem. I mean, public beaches, fantastic. The downtown social district is terrific. They have a great arena. I saw the Muskegon Lumberjacks losing Game 4 in double overtime for the Clark Cup and the USHL Hockey Championship. They have one of these great little arenas where it opens onto a bar, so you go in and out of the bar and go to the arena. And then we went out on Memorial Day, Sunday evening. We went out on the Aqua Star, which is one of those little cruisers that goes out on the local body of water, which was a great time.
Are you working for the Chamber of Commerce?
Highly recommend. You know what? When I first started coming here in the late 80s, this town literally stunk because of the paper mill. And Sean, I don't know if you ever encountered this down south, but when you're anywhere near a paper mill, the smell that it puts off is unbelievable. Paper mill's long gone. It's been torn down. And this place is just, it's really a great spot, and it's not that far from Detroit. And as you already know, every time I come here, my mother-in-law does what her daughter doesn't do, which is, don't fill in the blank there, folks. It makes me a wonderful breakfast.
I don't, I have smelled the paper mill factory too. The worst smelling factory I've ever smelled, this is going to sound ridiculous, was I went to see a friend. The first time I ever went to New York City was in the early 80s, maybe, and maybe the mid 80s. And my friend lived near Hackensack in Jersey, and there was a Colgate factory that made toothpaste, and that was the stinkiest thing I've ever smelled in my life. I don't know why it stunk so bad, but it did.
Byproducts.
Yeah. What about when you were scoring some H in Alphabet City?
Oh, in Alphabet City. Yeah, I think that was over the river, wasn't it?
It's in New York, but it's pretty posh now.
Yeah, no, I remember getting in with my friend at the time late at night. His first time. You know how you're young, and back then, if you grew up watching movies like most of us did, most of the movies in those days were either shot in New York or L.A. Right? So you knew all these landmarks, and it's one of those places that you knew even though you'd never been there. And it holds this sort of large place in your imagination. And we got there like midnight, 1 a.m, my friend and I, and parked this bright yellow old Nova, ugly Nova, and sprinted down the street to where we could see between the houses Manhattan across the water and the Statue of Liberty. I'll never forget that. That was pretty exciting. But I don't know if young people have that kind of experience now, where they grow up with something that's so outsized in their imagination in this country, or not.
I think they do. That's funny you said. I'm really intrigued because I'm taking the kids to Washington D.C. because they're intrigued by it, and they're at that perfect age, 8 and 12. I think their minds are going to be blown as they see some of the things that they see on TV, right? I mean, isn't it always that way? You see something on TV and it's like, I see it in real life, and you're just kind of amazed at how great it is.
Yeah, even something as simple as a street sign, or you know what I mean, Broadway or whatever.
You know, for me, the biggest thing, like in real life, seeing it and it being so different from anywhere else, seeing it is still the Grand Canyon. Like it just still looks fake when you're there and how big it is. Like it doesn't.
It does.
I don't know why that one has always stuck with me from when I was a kid, and then when I went back as an adult, it's just gorgeous and it's huge. You know, you just don't get the scale of it when you see a picture of it or video of it.
I think one of the things that you see in person you're underwhelmed by is the Hollywood sign.
Oh, sure.
Everybody's seen that?
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah, no, it's pretty stupid. Yeah.
You want to talk about visual effects. They really did something to make that thing look cool.
You know, an underrated one for me was growing up watching the Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and then I don't know, maybe 15 years ago, driving up the Devil's Tower in Wyoming. That was kind of cool. I didn't think it was going to be all that, but it was cool. And then you can walk up to hike up to the base of it and have yourself a little picnic. You know, sit on a blanket and nude if you want.
What?
Get anal probed. Yeah, it's good stuff. You can take that Hollywood stuff too far, Sean.
Well, on that note, let me just say that Kathy Ireland has never spoken to Luke Nowacki. And now that we think about it, every celebrity that has ever gone broke has never spoken to Luke. So maybe you shouldn't take that chance. Call or text Luke Nowacki at 248-663-4748. Who knows? Maybe you can find a way to go see the Devil's Tower or go see the Grand Canyon or go see New York City or get your own Champions Club tickets so you don't have to weasel them from other people like some folks we know do. Because when you call Luke...
Well, he'll make it all about you, sweetheart.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through
Mosaic Wealth.
Inc. member FINRA-SIPC.
Mosaic Wealth.
Inc. is separately owned, and other entities and or marketing names, products, or services referenced here are independent.
Mosaic Wealth.
Inc.
Mark, I got my glasses on, which means it's time for news.
Oh, all right. Go ahead. News?
DCFC.
Yeah.
I
wasn't ready.
We got that? No. Okay, we'll work. Research is working on the sounder. DCFC was home last week for men's and women's game. The men beat Miami 2-1, and the women beat Kalamazoo United 1-0. The men were on the road last Saturday, and they drew 0-0 at Loudoun United. They're now second in the Eastern Conference, and they will be at the Charleston Battery on Saturday. But here's the good news. You can catch that game on ESPN+. They'll be back at Keyworth on Saturday, June 6th versus Lexington SC. If you use promo code SOUL, 15% off your tickets for the men's and the women's game. Just go to debtcityfc.com, and when you go to checkout, just type in SOUL, and you will you'll save 15%.
I'm laughing because as Elric's doing the read,
fighting the sun.
He's trying to block the sun, which is moving on him because the sun moves. And well, actually, we're spinning, but you are trying to get your head to block the sun because when you don't, it totally washes you out. It's very entertaining.
Well, before Sean says it, the two biggest objects in the universe are my head and the sun. So it's seems like a perfect match. And like that other great hero, Ryan Gosling, I'm trying to save our sun and save the earth by going to Tau Ceti and discovering whatever the hell it was. You know, it was
your Project Hail Mary.
It was a really good movie, but they don't answer shit like, why didn't he run out of air? Why didn't he run out of food?
Just suspend belief, okay? That's like
his fuel tanks were destroyed. How did he get to?
Just accept the world building. Accept the world building.
I took the kids to see Mandalorian.
It was a great movie.
Mandalorian and Grogu, the new Star Wars movie.
That was my other option.
I think it's like the first movie where I wanted to see it and the kids wanted to see it that we've ever gone to. Because usually it's, Moana 2 or, Inside Out or whatever. But it's funny. I had the same thought as it's going on. I'm like, why doesn't Mandalorian just use those little things? I'm like, wait, I'm suspending belief that any of this is real. Why am I questioning what they're doing or why he doesn't use certain weapons? Yeah,
once you accept the hydrochlorians or whatever the hell it is, it's all over. You're theirs. Exactly. George Lucas is your master. Speaking of world building, Artisan Interiors is a tough segue. They can't build a world for you, but they can fix that hole in your kitchen roof. They can finish your basement. They can take that space where you're like, boy, I'd really love to make this someplace worth hanging out in my house. give them a call. John and the crew at Artisan Interiors will take a look. They'll let you know what they can do. They do custom cabinetry. They can finish your basement. I think I already mentioned they can update your home, and give them a call. They'll let you know what they can do. Give them a chance to get that work. You can call or text them at 586-770-3169. That's 586-770-3169. Artisan Interiors. Fix up your crib. You won't regret it. And then you can go watch those big movies in your basement. Although I will tell you, it was fun to watch a movie on the big screen, particularly science fiction, where, that it's such a, even with a 75-inch TV, it's not the same thing.
Well, and the sound, right? The sound of a movie theater is so good.
It's funny. I left this feeling a little underwhelmed because, there's so many rockets and shit. I expected it to be all around me. And I think this is the 30th anniversary of GoldenEye coming out. And when I saw GoldenEye in the theater, it's the first time you always saw a movie in a theater then. It's the first time I saw a movie in one of those, like deluxe theaters.
Mm-hmm.
And when Pierce Brosnan comes driving out in that tank, I could feel the tank behind me. I mean, the whole theater was rumbling. It was like, oh my God, is he behind me? What's going on? But he's in front of me on the screen. It was truly a game-changing experience. And I didn't have that last night, but maybe we've just become kind of used to being immersed in sound.
Could be the theater you saw it too. So.
That was pretty nice theater.
It could be the theater. Was it spread out? These are the big wide seats where you can kick the recliner seats and.
Yeah, I had to pick my seats.
Yeah, I feel like those theaters. Since that's been the emphasis, the sound has not been the same.
Really?
But that's just I don't know if it's related or not, but yeah, it's all about customer service. I mean, shoot, theaters wait on you in your seat now. You order, you can
bad idea.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, this theater, you can pick your seats, and it says, well, these are the recliners in the front, and then these are there, and I I want to be in the middle of the theater, and I want to be in the middle. So I noticed somebody had taken 2 seats in front of me. It looked like other seats had been taken too. So I took 1 seat right behind him, and then when I got in there, it was just the 3 of us, and they must have thought, who's this creep sitting behind us? Because they were already sitting there. I was like, what's he doing back there? Why is he behind us?
Everybody wants to sit in the middle, right? I
know. Well, that's what I figured. But I'm like, just keep your hands where I can see them, folks. This isn't date night in Muskegon, or not even Muskegon, Norton Shores, the naughty cousin of Muskegon. You know how those sailors are.
Oh man, the geeks have inherited the earth.
Did I do that?
What a dork.
Does him wanting to play with us again mean that he's turning into a geek, or we're turning into cool guys?
So it's not unheard of for very progressive, posh dicks to do something that's not cool. And this week's geek is Coachella, which, believe it or not, sent a letter of complaint to the Friends of Animals of Metro Detroit because they have an event to try and bring animals and people together for a better planet called Pawchella. And as our colleague Natalie Davies at the Free Press reports, they got essentially a letter saying, you know what? You can't use Cella because that's us. And so the Friends of Animals of Metro Detroit are now putting on Pawfest, a very good cause.
What about, why didn't they use Paulapalooza, or are they afraid Lollapalooza would go after him for that?
Well, you know what, because what's Perry Farrell? What's his? Doesn't he have a song about dogs?
He's got a song with his dog in it. His dog starts been caught stealing.
Yeah, they probably should have done that.
Well, I mean, maybe
he's big with Lollapalooza, isn't he?
I think he sold it, but he's the guy that started and created it and got it going. That's pretty. That's pretty shitty of Coachella to do that. But there is that Streisand effect with, now we know about the event because of the lawsuit, because there's a news story about it. But that's pretty weak.
See, and I thought I was the only silver lining guy here today. Regardless, Coachella, you're very, very beautiful and expensive, but you're also our Geek of the Week.
There's an all-night party in room 7609. And you can dance to
Well, I'm heading to the island, and I also want to up the stakes for those of you who are not sending us your great songs or your even better stories by continuing to pack room 7609 with borderline famous new wave artists. And this week, we're going with Howard Jones, who will be coming to town on a big bill. He's coming with two other new wave artists whose names escape me because they're also kind of middling. It actually maybe English beat and modern English, which are actually pretty good. But regardless, here's Howard Jones, who, like me, is singing about islands and telling the world something I also believe, which is, you know I love you. Don't you?
You have more time if you want to keep yapping.
Really, seriously, I do love you.
I just want to see how close you can get it to post.
I don't love you as much as Dr. Grace loved Rocky in Project Hail Mary, but it is a love. That's sincere and intergalactic.
3. Oh, you could have done better.
Take off. Yeah, so soulmates know that that is a total ripoff of the Aha
It
Take
really
On Me
is.
video.
Yeah.
Not done nearly as well. And Howard Jones will be at Meadowbrook. I'm going, so please come and not mock me. He's going to be there with Wang Chung, English Beat, and Modern English. So Modern English, outstanding. English Beat, outstanding. Modern English, so. I know everybody loves I'll Stop the World and Melt With You. Please, if I hear that one more time, it'll be one time too many, or 1 million times too many. Wang Chung, couple good tunes. But Howard Jones is one of those guys who's actually very talented, could be easily mistaken in a lineup for Thomas Dolby without his glasses on. But I think the real curse of Howard Jones, if he ever hoped to be taken seriously as a musician, is that he had a big hairdo. So he runs the risk of being the flock of seagulls guy, which is a shame because I think they both put out some good music, way more music than people know them for. But it's those goofy hairdos that will forever be their calling, and which is great until you go on tour in your 60s and it's like, what happened to all that salad? And you're like, that's all I got, brother. I got nothing. It ain't there.
Well, it's really interesting. He is still, never really been in trouble. Never really. I mean, he's been productive his whole career. It doesn't seem to always be the case for musicians coming out of the UK.
And you said he played with Ringo Starr, right?
Yeah. I was surprised by that, which I guess makes sense because you said he's mainly a keyboardist. So, but he played in the All-Star band. Yeah, not my kind of music, but whatever.
Looks like he's pretty good with that keytar. That's a skill that is rapidly disappearing. So you can't underestimate the value of that on the road. But Room 7609 is brought to you by people who bring you much better music than this on a regular basis. And that's the Caju Cafe. Again, the beer garden is open. So if you're going to those weekend shows and the weather's good, you're probably going to get to see your favorite band playing under the stars, which is fantastic. A little known fact, those benches that you're sitting on, Caju Cafe's owner, John Rutherford, had imported from a beer garden in Germany. So those are real beer garden benches. And this week, it's karaoke on Wednesday. Thursday, Ryan, Chris, and Rough Cuts are playing outside. The Bill Meyer group will be playing inside. Friday, it's Super Crunch. If you love the Dead, this is your chance to see their music live when Super Crunch comes to the Caju on Friday. Saturday, it's Hashtag Insecure, which I think describes most of us, and Electric Honey, which only describes certain creepy people's girlfriend or device. Sunday, James Montgomery and Friends. Monday, Tasha Owens and the Stable Dudes are having their open jam as they do every Monday when, of course, it's Muscle Madness. All the muscles you can eat. So Caju Cafe, find out more about them at cajucafe.com. You'll find a link to their website at our website, where you'll also find links and information about all our sponsors. If you do business with them or you visit them, please let them know that we sent you, because it keeps them coming back. Because let me tell you, folks, keeping sponsors in this day and age is pretty tough. Howard Jones's tour is the Things Can Only Get Better tour. Things are getting a little better for us financially. We hope to stay on that path, but we hope that Howard is right in terms of everything else. Sean talked about groceries. I just read a piece in the New York Times or the Washington Post that there are well-known restaurants, and Sean probably knows some of them in Texas, that are closing because the price of beef is too high. When people in Texas can't afford beef, things can only get better.
Ooh, that's a bummer. Right, Sean?
He's
better
speechless.
or worse? That's what I was thinking about.
Things can only get better.
I mean,
Things are not good now.
Are we sure we haven't? Are we sure we've bottomed out?
Okay, so that's a scary point, but you're right. During the Great Recession, I was talking to my grandmother, who passed away 10 years ago at the age of 96. So she probably would have been around 90 then. And I said, Grandma, was the Great Depression like this? And she's like, oh no, it was way worse. People were losing their shit over the Great Recession. She's like, get out of here.
Well,
you guys don't know. You guys don't know from nothing.
It also depends where you're at in your life, right?
Yeah.
At 90, what is the Great Recession going to... I mean, unless you're living... Well, I guess no, because if you have investments and stuff, but... As opposed to being a child who couldn't eat, right?
Yeah, exactly. Or
suffering from Ebola.
Or suffering from having to listen to Howard Jones. Yeah, no, it'd be...
there it is. Okay. That's I was waiting for your review on.
Yeah. Put Sean down for Ebola when Howard Jones comes to town.
There are a couple songs that he had a couple of hits that are one that was part of the movie Stakeout with Emilio Estevez and Richard Dreyfuss. I don't know if you guys remember that 80s fare that are nostalgic, but for the most part, Man, that sometimes that 80s synth is just
that
hard
song,
on the ears.
That song got a little wacky in the middle of it. Yeah. Got a little crazy there.
Well, then it felt like he was going to the extended version in the first. He was like, no, just wrap it up, Howie. Yeah. But I'm going to keep doing this unless you guys send me your songs and your great stories to mlsoulofdetroit@gmail.com. And if you want to make Sean happy, make sure it's got a beat.
What is love, right? Isn't that it?
Yeah.
What is love, Sean?
Yeah, I don't know what love is, but I'm hoping to find out one day.
Do you want to know what love is? I think I can show you.
Oh, that's another one, isn't it? That's a nice
Foreigner.
Don't you need to get on the road? Come on.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, once we get to Lou Graham, we've gone from heroin to grams. This is a bad road, which Sean can't travel unless he's in an Uber. So hey, Soulmates. By the way, I'm thinking of reopening the swag shop. Mark, look at your fantastic Soul of Detroit T-shirt. This is one of our new products. Look at that in the sweet ass script.
I like the baseball script. Yeah, it's good look.
Yeah, so there you go. And
plus,
look at
I'm
Sean in the zip up, looking quite fetching. So I'm off to the island.
Handsome as ever.
We have no new Soulmates this week. I'm sorry just to report. No one-time donors. They probably think we're getting fat and happy with all these sponsors. Nothing could be further from the truth. We're trying to recover from an eating disorder financially. And so throw us a crust. And the only feedback we had was somebody said on Wednesday, please, can you do an emergency episode on Duggan leaving? I'm afraid we weren't able to pivot that fast, but hopefully we've given you the inside story, the story behind the story, and we hope all those people who put their careers on hold because they put their trust in Mike Duggan's ability to do something that has never been done before will recover, because that's
which is a shame. I mean, it would be nice to have a viable third candidate in almost any election, but
yeah,
not going to happen.
And it would be good because the one debate that I saw Duggan in when he was with Jocelyn Benson, which happened just the night before he dropped out of the race, he came out both guns blazing. And I think you see what somebody like him could do on the debate stage to hold the other candidates accountable. And I asked him, I said, what was it like going into that debate when you knew you're going to pull the plug the next day? He's like, well, I was a high school debater, and once I got on there, just the old skills just kicked in.
He probably just likes the sport of it.
Well, here's a guy who said we need to get past the bickering, and he's in a debate and he's throwing haymakers. So I got a feeling that if it got hot, old Mikey wasn't going to be quite as graceful as he would have you believe. But that's okay. We do need contrast in politics. Sometimes it's the only way to tell brand X from brand Y. But
it'll make for an interesting Mackinac convention. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. So Free Press will have full coverage. Check it out at freep.com if you're a subscriber to the Free Press. We appreciate it. I'll have a couple columns and I'm going to hit the road. Sean, it's good to see you. Mark, thanks for holding it together. Mm-hmm. New bonus episode coming soon, and we appreciate you staying with us. Look how
angelic he looks there, Sean.
I know.
Yeah, look at the light spilling over his head. Nice.
Looks like you can tell Homelander he's God.
Don't ruin it for me. I haven't watched any of it. And now, is there a prequel series coming out? I heard the Rise of Vought or something.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I heard that recently. Yep.
They did a good job incorporating Generation V into it too. I don't know if you guys have watched Generation V.
No, was that the cartoon?
No, that's the spin-off that is about the young university and stuff, but those characters made it into this season, into the final season. There's a lot of crossover stuff. But if you like The Boys on Amazon, you'll like Generation V.
Okay, I got something to look forward to.
Yeah.
When I'm back where we have electricity. So okay, fellas, happy trails. Until next week, we turn to our good friend Cyrus to take us out, as they say in Canada.
Can you dig that?
Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
ML Elric.
I just want to live. I don't care how.
Scroungy politicians.
You still think there's an island?
The Soul of Detroit.